seasons. It's a 6-0 game after a Jaden Daniels pick early. And then here, Bill Krosky-Merritt puts the ball on the ground, and it's the second turnover of the first quarter. So the Bears are trying to capitalize, and they do here on a second-and-goal situation in Caleb Williams. Little help from Swift getting there, and he is in. As you see, great play design, and Caleb Williams got the size and speed to get there, and it's 13-0. Now the Commanders trying to get on the board, and they do in a hurry. It's Daniels with a gorgeous pass to Chris Moore, keeps the knee in bounds, and just like that, the 13-0 deficit is cut more than in half. A touchdown, and they would have the lead. Third quarter, this is a critical moment. Bears leading 13-10. Don't want to settle for a field goal on 3rd and 6. It's a beautiful throw and catch to Rome Odunze. There's one problem, an illegal formation. We've seen that called a lot this year, a lot of flags for formational situations, and the left tackle too far off the line of scrimmage. So they settle for a field goal, which means that this double move right here, which, by the way, Coach Hasselbeck works every time, finds Luke McCaffrey, and it's 17-16. Commanders have the lead. After the Commanders block a field goal, now a chance to put their foot on the gas, and what a beautiful throw and catch to the speedster Jalen Lane. 37-yard gain, and then Zach Ertz. This is a dart, and Ertz, a very popular target for Jaden. Connection makes it an 8-point lead in the fourth. Bears 3rd and 4, and this has been a trouble spot for the Commanders. Tackling. They cannot get Swift on the ground. 175 total yards. That touchdown gets them within 2. They went for 2, don't get it. So about 3 to go in the game, and at this point, if Washington gets the first down, then we're playing the clock timeout game. Instead, Daniels never really has it, can't get it in the gut of Bill Krosky-Merritt, and Chicago pounces on it. Deshaun Wright is on it, and the Bears have an opportunity. You know they want to get closer. Big-time third down conversion. Colston Loveland moved the chains. Bears are driving. A big Swift run gets them closer. Dicka. Bears.
No Bears.
Dicka. Bears. And it's Jake Moody. Snap, hold, and kick are all good. He goes 4 for 5 on the night. And the new kicker in town is the hero. And Chicago on the same field where they lost in excruciating fashion a year ago. Walk off victorious, and we wonder how does that impact the trajectories this season. All right, Ryan Clark's alongside, and Ryan, I want to start right there with the kicker. You guys always talk about these guys like they play a different sport, because they do.
Yes.
And I don't know how much you talk to them during the week because you guys are playing the game and then they come on to do their little bit. I think it's funny, like, do you talk to them? Do you even know the guy?
Well, absolutely, if they are your teammates. I mean, when Jake Moody just comes into town, though, you don't get opportunities to talk to those guys. You see them in special teams meeting. When you're practicing on the field, they're off doing something else.
Allows Swift to get loose for that touchdown, which helps create the possibility for Chicago to ultimately win this game, which they do. Now, there's a line about the man who believes he can and the man who believes he can't are both right. Which man are you? This Chicago team wins a game such as this. I don't want to overstate it, but okay, it's a new coach. Since we saw them that first Monday night where they let a lead get away against Minnesota, and then they lost the following week and got crushed by Detroit, they've won 3 in a row. To win like this, what does it do for a team?
I want to answer that question. I'm driving on the golf cart after I leave you on the field in Chicago. I see Caleb Williams. I hop out and I hug him. And I was like,
Nationwide post-game, I'm Scott Van Pelt here in New York City. What a night in the National Football League as Week 6 wraps up. The Chicago Bears lost on a Hail Mary on the same field a year ago on a misty October night. They win at the gun, and down by 8 in the fourth quarter, Caleb Williams out to DeAndre Swift. Washington has not been great tackling this year, and it rears its ugly head as DeAndre Swift, powerful running back, runs through a tackle, 55 yards. They go for 2, don't get it. Washington with the football back, and on a misty night, the operation not clean as Daniels cannot get into the belly of Bill Krosky-Merritt, and that means the Bears have another opportunity 3rd down and 5. Big conversion to the Michigan man, Colston Loveland. And now it's Swift again. You want to get as close as you can to give the new kicker, Jake Moody, an opportunity. And what a run from Swift, getting them closer. That allows them to set it up exactly where they want, in the middle of the field. Moody hit 3 field goals, had 1 block. The snap's a bit high, but it is placed down and it is buried. And the Chicago Bears able to score the last 9 in this one to win by 1 as the game ends and they score a measure of revenge. We welcome in Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from the booth. And Joe, I want to start with you. We had difficulty getting out of town. That's where we live, to get up here to New York because of the remnants of this nor'easter, combination of a little bit of rain and a whole bunch of wind. And we saw that mist start to pick up there. How much of a role do you believe that might have played in that final fumble for Washington?
I think it had a lot to do with it. I'm standing next to a guy who every time there may be bad weather, he says to whatever coach and whatever quarterback, how is he or how are you throwing a wet ball? Because he didn't like throwing a wet ball. I mean, it has to factor in that Jaden Daniels couldn't secure the snap and then basically is shoveling it to Krosky Merritt. So, yeah, I think that played a role. But then you have to go back to Chicago and,
sure,
and see if they can take advantage of it. DeAndre Swift with 175 yards from scrimmage and some big runs really from the beginning of the ball game. That and the turnovers is, I guess, in the end, the difference in tonight's game.
Yeah, that and the new kicker who has 1 blocked, and then the life of a kicker. Really an amazing sort of life and existence for these guys. And he's the hero in the end. And Troy, you made a bit of a joke about maybe it comes down to a Hail Mary. It doesn't, but it comes down to a kick. And it is a measure of revenge. If you're Chicago, you lost on this field a year ago, and it sent their season spiraling. For a young team with a new head coach to now have won 3 straight football games, how significant is a win like this against a team that did it to them a year ago?
As far as the revenge goes or whatever happened last year, I don't know that really played into this particular game all that much. I do know it weighed on Tyreek Stevenson's mind because of what happened last year. But for Ben Johnson, the staff, and all of that, they just wanted to come out and try to win another game coming off a bye week, which Chicago has struggled with that over the years as well. But when you're a new coach and a new staff coming in, and you're trying to implement your way of doing things and build something, these games are really, really important. So for them, and the way in which you do it, and they did a lot of really good things they hadn't really shown through the first 4 games, and starting with the offensive line and creating some running lanes, and DeAndre Swift, 100 yards rushing for him, had a big night, looked really good, a lot of good things to build on, but it wouldn't have felt nearly as good if they don't make that kick. Jake Moody doesn't, and they don't head home tonight with a win. So this is great for Chicago. They've won 3 in a row, and they're feeling really good about themselves.
Where do they look better to you from the first time you guys saw them that week, in week 1, I should say, in Chicago, where they have a big lead, then they let it all get away from them?
Well, one is they, like I said, running the ball. I mean, that is what Ben Johnson is about, and everything else kind of operates off of that. I think Caleb Williams still needs to get a little bit more accurate, but think of the opportunities. We would be saying some different things if Olamide Zaccheaus, if he's able to make that catch. So there are some things that if they just execute, they're not asking much, just execute the plays that are there. This offense would have even looked better than what it did tonight.
Washington doesn't have nearly as much wiggle room this year. The downside of playing well last year, as you guys know, they have a much tougher schedule to face this season, and they dropped this one at home. Look forward to seeing you gentlemen next week in Detroit for what figures to be a fantastic game between the Bucs and the Lions. Thank you for taking the time tonight, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
It'll be good to see you.
All right, yeah. We'll look forward to that. Got to leave town to see you guys. That's fine with me. Wherever we can catch up to Joe and Troy, it'll be in Detroit next week. You see, the next 5 weeks for both sides, the Bears coming off their bye home against the Saints, who, give them credit, outside of that 1 loss at Seattle, they've competed in the games they've played. Then at Baltimore and Cincinnati, a couple of teams each struggling at the moment. Then the Giants in Minnesota. For Washington, they head to Dallas. Then we'll see them for Monday night in Arrowhead. Then home for Seattle, Detroit, and then a trip overseas to face the Dolphins in Madrid. Plenty more to come. We're in New York City. We'll take you inside the victorious